This is something you guys have been requesting for a long time. I finally found 3 real stories that take place during school lockdowns, and they're terrifying. It was a typical boring day in calculus, only it was Friday's 7th period, meaning the week was almost over and spring break would finally be upon us. Everybody was getting antsy in their seats. I could tell we didn't have a test that day like a lot of my friends did with their other teachers. Our teacher, in the middle of class, just decided to start playing games with us on Sporkle.com. He was a very laid-back teacher like that. As we were doing a brand logo quiz, I remember the exact moment it happened, right after my friend answered a question. I remember the exact answer. Adidas. The dean's voice came through the loudspeaker. He sounded panicked and frantic as he told all the teachers, "This is not a drill. Go into lockdown." I actually got chills and goosebumps on my arms. Our usually laid-back teacher seemed panicked as well. He ran to turn off the lights and ushered us to the back corner of the room. We all sat in silence for about 2 minutes. Then the usual buzzing from a panel in the back of the room ceased, indicating that the school must have cut all the power. A few more minutes of waiting later, we heard a man screaming at the top of his lungs coming down the hallway. 2 girls in the class started crying, making all of us even more scared. The man started banging on the lockers while yelling, "I'll kill all of you!" My teacher shushed us as we all looked at each other to see our peers' reactions. The banging moved from the lockers to our classroom door. One of the crying girls screamed, "No!" The pounding on the door grew worse as the man shouted, "Open up!" It felt like an eternity, but eventually the man continued down the hallway screaming until we could no longer hear him. 10 minutes later, the dean came back on the loudspeaker explaining that a mentally unstable person had entered the building, assaulted the woman at the front desk, causing her to flee, and staff wasn't sure if he was armed. Later, a janitor found the man sleeping in a storage closet near the back of the school. Rumors said a .44 Magnum was sticking out of his pocket. By the time police arrived, the man was gone. My entire class never found out if he was caught, but I like to think he's now receiving the proper help he needs. My school has 2 lunch periods. The first is for all 6th graders and some 7th graders. The second is for the other half of the 7th graders and all 8th graders. The lockdown happened at the beginning of October on an overcast and rainy day. During the first lunch period, I heard 4 loud booms. I thought it was thunder, but the entire lunch crowd started screaming. Campus security came in, yelling at everyone to go into the multi-purpose room. Students in line for lunch had to throw away their food and come inside. My friends and I joined the huge group of students rushing indoors. The multi-purpose room is huge, and the back wall is made of see-through glass. Campus security quickly covered it with curtains, and adults guarded every exit. Curious, my friend Eric asked one of the adults what was happening. He returned and explained that a mentally unstable man had barricaded himself in front of his house near the school, threatening to commit suicide and harm police if evicted. It turned out the man was also a registered sex offender. We were trapped in the multi-purpose room for a full hour, spanning 2 lunch periods. After it was resolved, students were escorted back to classrooms one at a time. Later, I found out from my friend Brandy that the same man lived nearby. She told me about the previous Halloween when she saw him at his window cutting his arm and writing in his own blood, "Don't come here or I'll kill you." People assumed it was just Halloween theatrics, but after this incident, it was clear the man was mentally unstable. We were grateful he never got near the school. I'm 22 years old, fresh out of college, and recently got a job at my old high school as a computer intern in the school basement. The basement was messy and disorganized, but there was a small office with 3 big desks, 2 mini fridges, a flat-screen TV, and air conditioning, a luxury students and teachers didn't have access to. I got the job because 3 of my old computer teachers adored me and helped me land it. Everything was great until a few weeks ago. My co-workers Dave and Gary were upstairs when I got a call from the front office. The school was on lockdown, and someone possibly armed had entered the school. There wasn't much I could do except turn off the lights, as the office had no door and the basement exit didn't have a working lock. I texted Dave and Gary but got no response. I sat in the dark playing games on my phone, waiting for instructions. Suddenly, the basement door creaked open. Footsteps approached my office. I crawled under my desk. Someone entered but didn't turn on the lights. My phone dinged with a text from Dave. "Dude, this is crazy. Some guy with a gun shot Mr. Buckley. He's wearing a red shirt and hat. Whatever you do, don't go upstairs." I looked up at the man in front of me. He was wearing a red plaid shirt and cap. He said he was just hiding after being told to by a teacher. I explained there was an exit, and then heard a gunshot ricochet off metal in the darkness. Thankfully, the bullet missed me. I made it upstairs safely. Police were waiting at all exits, including the basement. They caught the man immediately. Mr. Buckley survived the gunshot. The reason the shooter targeted him was never revealed, but the sound of that gunshot will forever echo.